Hey guys, Neo here with some news because the PTR just got updated with more balance, and we're gonna do a two-part video of that. I'm gonna first introduce you to the changes to maps, human and orc, and in the second part we're gonna take care of undead, night elf, and the neutral heroes, and some items and stuff like that, so random stuff. So let's not waste any time. This is the PTR update, basically 1.301 if you want. But not really, it has a different version number, whatever. We start with Twisted Meadows, because you know the dragon drop thingy, the abuse, where you can lure the big dragon into your opponent's base, and then he attacks the mine, and then yada yada. That's not possible anymore, because the red dragons are gone, they are replaced with granite golems, so you won't suffer from a big dragon in your base anymore, which is cool. Let's go for the humans, because there is quite some changes. Mountain King takes a nerf again, interestingly. The Stormbolt was reduced in 1.29 already, and now they lower it even further. 10 damage less on level 2, 15 damage less on level 3. So, yeah, the former strongest weapon of the MK gets nerfed and nerfed and nerfed. Thunderclap gets its damage decreased as well, so on level 1 we go back to pre 1.29 damage, that's 60. And on level 2 and 3, it's 10 damage less and 15 damage less. So now it's between the 1.28 Thunderclap and the 1.29 Thunderclap, but the range remains the same, so it's just a little weaker on all levels. Footman, there was quite some controversy because of Defend, because apparently there was a bug in Defend that didn't calculate it correctly. And the patch notes say consistently reflects damage from piercing again. And the PTR changes are revoked. So, what does it mean? In 1.29, 30% of the incoming attacks are reflected with 100% damage, 21% of the incoming attacks disappear, that's the bug, and 49% of the incoming attacks do 50% damage to Footman. So, Defend got nerfed, and the bug got fixed. That means 1.30 PTR, as it was until now. 30% of the incoming attacks are reflected with 90% damage, so less damage damage reflect. 0% of the incoming attacks disappear, that is a 21% nerf, and now 70% of the incoming attacks do 60% damage to Footman, so a little nerf on the damage reduction. Now, it's like this, 30% of the incoming attacks are reflected with 100% damage, so the damage reduction is back to 1.29 values, and 70% of incoming attacks do 50% damage to Footman, so the damage reduction is also back on the old state, but the 21% are gone. This bug is gone, so Defend is a lot weaker. There was also a bug on the PTR that Defend granted spell reduction and magic damage reduction, and magic damage got reflected by 100%, and also effects were reflected. For example, if a Frostmourne attacks your Footman, it reflects the slow. That is also fixed. That was never intended, and that got fixed now. Riflemen are faster now. From, like, the attack cooldown got reduced, so instead of once every 1.5 seconds, they attack once every 1.35 seconds, which is more damage, which is nice, will help the Riflemen a little bit. And they needed that. Siege engines, of course, you know, they cost more supply now, but they also have a better anti-air, with Barrage having a +2 on damage. Very interesting change for cannon towers. Fragmentation shards now apply to cannon towers. I don't know if that will change something. It makes them a lot stronger, but I don't know if there's practical use for it. Maybe against Raider lane, but then you don't really go for a War Mill. We'll see about that. So that's the human changes. Not too big, I think. A little tweaking here and there, but nothing game-breaking. Except, of course, Defend. That Defend is still ridiculous. And humans will suffer in the early game. I think that it's too weak now. Orcs! The Farseer gets a little help again for the Farside. The cooldown for all levels is now 30 seconds. That got reduced. And the radius got increased from level 1. That's 300 more. So from the beginning, Farside a little better. And of course the cooldown is kind of weak. In case, like, strong. And the radius is better, so Farside got a little better, but no one cares. Headhunters got a lot of buffs already before, with more hit points, etc., etc. Now, they cost a little more, 5 gold, which is neglectable, and they have 100 more range. That is something that a lot of people have asked for, and now they get it, and that's gonna make them a lot stronger. They are more defensive that way, more protected, have more HP. Undeads, man, they're gonna have a hard time. Shaman had more HP, had more damage, had more mana reduction. Purge got changed. So now we have increased mana regeneration a little bit, and Bloodlust costs a little less, so you can spam it even more than before. All the FFA people will be happy, I guess. And maybe we'll see it more often, but nah, not really. We're not gonna see a lot. Witch Doctor also have the mana regeneration of the Shaman now. Little more mana for them. Little easier to spam stuff. Biggest change for Orc, in my opinion, with this PTR patch and Snare. Reduced duration on units, 2 seconds less, therefore a 1 second less cooldown. But in general, this is good, this is necessary, and Snare is so strong. And it's a 1 second nerf. That's okay, I guess. 10 seconds still seems long. Torrent Totem, that's just that is something that everybody was asking for, I guess. Since this is in the patch notes, Torrents require a War Mill, Pulverize requires a War Mill, but for the Walkers, you don't need a War Mill. So you can build the Torrent Totem without a War Mill. You can train Walkers without a War Mill, but for Torrent on tier 3, you need a War Mill. That's good, because otherwise, Dispel for Orcs would just be way too late. Spirit Lodge, since there's no Walkers anymore, the thing got a little cheaper for less lumber. Makes it easier to get it and faster, but still, I don't think we will see that building ever again. Some changes to items and updates. Reinforced Defenses gets a little more expensive, 75 gold and a little less lumber, but still available on tier 2, still not split into burrows and towers, which I really don't think is good. And yeah, the 25 gold. Come on. No, it's Orc tier 2 upgrades are all about lumber, and there they even got buffed, so yeah. I still dislike this change. I like this one though. Orb of Lightning, chance for Purge is now from 35% to 30%. That is okay, I guess. I felt like Purge hits every second hit, so that's fine. And Spike Barricades got reduced lumber costs from 175 to 100 for level 2 and 275 for 125. Maybe we will see it more often, but usually Orcs don't have lumber in that stage of the game, and they really don't want to spend it on Spike Barricades. So. Those are the updates on maps, Human and Orc. What do you think about it? Is there some useful stuff in? Is it going into the right direction? Are there still major issues? Let us know. We really want to know what you guys think out there. I don't think it's the biggest changes. Orc might still be OP. Orc even more OP against Undead now. What do you think? Let me know. And we will see each other for the second video for this new PTR update with Night Elf, Undead, and Neutral Heroes.